Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Daybreak. I'm Juliana Brock.
And I'm Colleen Winder. In this week's news, Barney the Purple Dinosaur has entered back into the conversation. Find out why coming up.
We'll catch up on some sports and political news with our reporters Samuel Parator and Addison Deal.
And reporter Anthony Durzo will update us on the unfortunate shooting that recently took place in Pittsburgh Northside.
Wake up and smell the coffee, Pittsburgh. Daybreak starts right now.
Welcome back. Let's get started with your campus news. Here's your weekly weather update with Alexis Shawless.
Thanks, Colleen and Juliana. We're hitting the time of year where Pittsburgh decides to be at its most indecisive. So first and foremost, stock up on some allergy medicine as we'll be having aggressive shifts in weather this week. We're starting off the week relatively warm with highs in the low 70s. Those highs taper off as the week progresses, but luckily, none of those highs are lower than 60 degrees. You can expect partially cloudy skies throughout the week and lows ranging from low 50s to the mid 40s. Any thoughts from our hosts?
This is so unfortunate.
I know.
I can't deal with the changing weather.
Right, it's been a lot. I can't handle how cold it is right now. It's really fierce.
One minute I'm taking off my jacket, next minute I'm putting it on.
Right, I know. You gotta stay prepared.
Yep. Thank you for the update, Alexa.
Now we'll get started with this week's campus news. Point Park's School of Communication professor Tatiana Dumova has received the Harvey Kelly Excellence in Teaching Award at the 2022 PA Communication Association Convention. The Harvey Kelly Excellence in Teaching Award goes to a communication faculty member who shows a passion and mastery of teaching. Dumova joined the Point Park community in 2009 as one of 56 high-achieving faculty. She was selected for her innovation and excellence in the field. Dumova said, quote, "The COVID pandemic became a challenge of enormous proportions for all American educators. It brought the best out of them as it required not only to work hard, but also to innovate, motivate, and carry the torch of hope for our youth through these 2 bleak years," end quote.
Get ready to rock, Point Parkers! Our very own radio station and record label are having separate music-themed events coming up to rock your world. Pioneer Records Rocktoberfest will be on October 27th from 7 to 10 p.m. at Point Park. Students can look forward to live music, a Halloween costume contest, and the announcement of our 2023 Pioneer Stars. So if you want to bust it down in your costume fit, make sure to put this on your calendar. On the other hand, WPPJ's annual charity event, Rockathon, will be a broadcast from October 26th to October 29th on the second floor of Lawrence Hall. The event proceedings will go to the organization Early Learning Institute of Pittsburgh, a nonprofit provider of early intervention services to children. WPPJ will also hold other events around campus at this time. So make sure to rock out and support our radio station for a good cause.
It's time to get festive, Pioneers. The Campus Activities Board will be hosting a Halloween bash on Thursday, October 27th from 6 to 8 p.m. The location will be off campus at the Bottle Rocket Warehouse with Haunted Hollywood as its theme. Shuttle services begin at 5 p.m. and doors open at 6. Feel free to dress up, take pictures, dance, and enjoy free food. The festivities await, Pioneers. It will be scarily fun.
Are you excited for all these things?
Yeah, I'm excited. I love Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays.
October?
Right, October's just the best month. There's so much to do all the time.
Getting to dress up. And our school really, has a lot of events going on.
I know. I'm excited. What are you going to be for Halloween?
I'm going to be a character from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, the YouTube series.
That's going to be cool.
But the sexy version, you know.
That'll be cool.
What about you?
I'm going to be Padme, and my boyfriend will be Anakin from Star Wars.
That's so good.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah. After the break, we'll open up with Pittsburgh news. We'll cover some light stories this weekend's Donut Festival. That's not right.
As well as some more serious topics like firearms seized at our Pittsburgh International Airport.
Alongside, reporter Anthony Durzo will inform us of the details regarding the shooting that recently occurred in Pittsburgh Northside.
Don't go anywhere. Daybreak will be right back.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, and welcome back to Newsnight. rest of the student body of the Pittsburgh Public School.
Some of the United States allies.
Thursday, the FBI was seen raiding.
Let's get started with today's forecast.
Today's high will only reach about 31 degrees.
It's looking a little cooler than we've seen in the past few weeks.
All this and more.
All this and more.
All this and more coming up on Newsnight.
Coming up on Newsnight.
Coming up on Newsnight.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Daybreak.
Now let's take it away to this week's Pittsburgh news.
The UMPC School of Nursing will be offering a loan forgiveness program to alleviate financial struggles for students pursuing a nursing major starting in January 2023. To be eligible, one must complete at least one semester in the School of Nursing, meet academic requirements, and agree to work at the UMPC facility after graduation. If fit, the student will receive $7,000 in loan forgiveness per semester for all upcoming semesters. This isn't the only program, as the UMPC offers $10,000 as a graduate nurse sign-on bonus if agreeing to 2 years of employment. Another program giving monthly loans repayments to inpatient and surgical services graduating through 2023, a creation of UMPC Travel Staffing, an international travel staffing agency that support frontline caregivers, tuition reimbursements to graduates if they pursue a BSN, and grants and loan programs for students with financial needs and have approval from the Pennsylvania State Board of Nursing. These UMPC initiatives are a staple in the fight for loan forgiveness throughout all U.S. universities.
Calling all Yinzers with a sweet tooth. For the first time ever, our city is hosting Donut Fest. Donut Fest is a celebration of donuts and coffee. This will take place on Saturday, October 22nd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the Cathedral Room at St. Nicholas. The press release told KDKA that a portion of the proceeds will support not-for-profit food security organizations in the greater Pittsburgh area. KDKA posted, quote, "A selection of the city's best bakeries and restaurants will serve their most superlative deep-fried delicacy, and the crowd will crown one winner as the best donut in Pittsburgh," end quote. Participating vendors you can expect to see are Oakmont Bakery, Duck Donuts, Peace Lovin' Little Donuts, and many more. This sounds yummy, Pittsburgh. You won't want to miss it.
Pittsburgh's International Airport has some concerning items seized in the last few days. 4 guns from 4 different people were confiscated in the span of 5 days at security checkout. October 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th, TSA officers confiscated handguns from Gordon Vitmere, Jacob Huckabee, and Paul O'Brien, who were charged with carrying a firearm without a license, along with an additional unidentified male passenger who had a permit and was not charged. TSA's Federal Security Director for Pittsburgh Airport issued a statement saying, quote, "Responsible gun owners know where their guns are at all times, and they know what they are not permitted to carry them on flights, even someone has concealed carry permit." The TSA also emphasized that passengers can transport their firearm if they declare it at the airline ticket counter and are packed in a hard case, locked, unloaded, and separate from ammunition. This has become an increasing problem as 22 firearms have been already confiscated by Pittsburgh Airport this year, compared to their 32 confiscated firearms in the whole year of 2021. And with this, Pittsburgh firearm conversation gains more attention as gun violence has been on the rise, with shootings and misuse of firearms stifling our news every week.
Are you going to the Donut Fest?
I really want to.
I love donuts. They're my favorite thing ever. They're my weakness.
Especially duck donuts. Oh,
I know. I've never heard of it, but that sounds so cute.
They have them back in Baltimore. They were hitting.
Oh, I am so excited. I love Oakmont Bakery. I know they'll have good stuff there.
Oh, yes. We have to go together.
Oh, we will go together. That's so
Yes.
exciting. It'll be amazing.
That's all we have for this week's city news. But reporter Anthony Durza in the studio to update you about mass shootings that occurred this weekend in Pittsburgh North Side.
Thanks, Carleon and Juliana. Gun violence continues to erupt in the city of Pittsburgh, and this time it happened in the North Side neighborhood. On Saturday, a triple homicide took place when 2 women and 1 man was shot and killed in the 300 block of Cedar Avenue just before the 10 o'clock hour. 1 woman was found dead at the scene when paramedics arrived. According to KDKA, that victim was 33-year-old Jacqueline Mahalik, a mother to 4 children. Another woman was also found wounded and rushed to the hospital but later died. She was identified as 59-year-old Betty Averett, who also was a mother and known locally as Miss Betty. A third victim of the shooting was also rushed to the hospital and later died as well. He was identified as 20-year-old John Hernandez. A fourth victim was also taken to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the leg. His identification and condition has yet to be released. Pittsburgh Police Commander Richard Forward told the Post-Gazette that bullets began to fly as a result of an argument that unfolded in the parking lot of a Sunoco. That's when Mahalik and Averett, who were waiting for a bus in the bus shelter across the street, were struck with bullets. Hernandez, who was believed to be involved in the gunfight, was found in the Allegheny Commons Park with a gunshot wound. It is unclear if the fourth victim was involved. An investigation by the Violent Crime Unit is ongoing, and no arrests have been made. On Monday, however, Pittsburgh Mayor Ed Gainey responded to the shooting by making a public plea to the community to help put the gun violence to rest. Gainey also touched upon the number of guns that are on the city streets, saying, quote, "We have too many guns on our city streets. More and more of our young people right now can get guns quicker than you can get a bag of chips at a grocery store," end quote. Also discussed during the press conference by Gainey was the plan to open a new juvenile detention center in the city, saying that it is in the works. Pittsburgh has been without one since the closing of the Schumann's Juvenile Detention Center in September of last year. Gainey said that Schumann should have never been closed without a plan. The mayor ended his plea by imploring citizens that if they know anything about this shooting, they need to say something.
Thank you for that insight, Anthony. Coming up after the break, we'll catch you up today on Pittsburgh sports with Sam's Sideline Slice.
We'll politismack this week's political news with Addison Deal, and we'll hear a shocking story about everyone's favorite purple dinosaur from Jillian Musser.
That's all for now, but Daybreak will be right back.
Welcome back to Daybreak, everybody. My name is Samuel Parator, and I am here with this week's Sideline Slice, where I catch you up with what happened last week and what to expect from the next one. I am here tonight with an unexpectedly positive report. The Pittsburgh Steelers were able to outlast the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last Sunday and come away with a 20-18 win. Yes, you heard that correctly. This Steelers team just beat Tom Brady. I'll let that sink in for just a second. I did not exactly have that on my NFL Week 6 bingo card, but I will certainly take it. They even got an opening drive touchdown for the first time in, ever. They certainly looked far from perfect, but they tapped into some of that Pittsburgh grit, and they got it done, and that's what matters. This defense is what impressed me the most, as they were able to shut down the greatest of all time with a totally beat-up secondary. That was without the likes of Cam Sutton, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Levi Wallace, and Akello Witherspoon, just to name a few. Luckily, all those players are hopeful for next week, but huge props to the defense for getting it done last week and making the GOAT look a little bit further from his normal self. We did unfortunately add to that laundry list of injuries yet again, as though Kenny Pickett went down with a concussion, Miles Jack is battling an ankle, and a few others as well. No news quite yet on if any of those players will be out for next week, so we can only hope for the best. Also got to give a huge shout out to Mitch Trubisky, who came off the bench with that Pickett injury and really stepped up with a touchdown and a couple huge 3rd and long conversions on those last couple drives to keep them alive and keep running down that clock. The Steelers will travel to Miami this weekend to take on the Dolphins under the lights of Sunday Night Football as they search for their 3rd win of the season. It looks like Tua Tagovailoa will be making his return for the Dolphins this Sunday, and on the opposite side, if he is cleared, Pickett will start. We do not know the status on that quite yet, but hopefully we'll be able to get some of those starters back, especially in the secondary, to contest with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, the Dolphins' most dangerous receivers, especially if Tua is under center. That's all for me, and as always, here we go Steelers. Now let's send it over to Addison Deal for this week's PolitiSmack.
Thanks, Sam. I'm Addison Deal, and this is PolitiSmack. Liz Truss, British Prime Minister, has officially resigned from the position after 6 weeks, the shortest run of a Prime Minister in British history. This resignation comes after many of the policies Truss had put into place had been overturned. These policies include a myriad of tax cuts that had sent the value of the pound immensely low, causing her Chancellor of the Exchequer, Jeremy Hunt, to undo all of these changes. Truss announced her resignation on 10 Downing Street with her husband, saying, quote, "I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected," end quote. Truss has agreed to stay on as a party leader for 1 week until a replacement is found. Graham Brady, chairman of a committee of conservative lawmakers, is in charge of deciding who will be taking Truss's place, with other party members also being consulted about the successor. The current candidates likely to take her place include Rishi Sunak, former Chancellor of the Exchequer, Penny Mordaunt, leader of the lower house parliament, and Ben Wallace, the defense secretary. The new prime minister will be announced within the next week. In national news, a group of taxpayers from Wisconsin has asked the Supreme Court to block the Biden administration's student loan debt relief program. This group, the Brown County Taxpayers Association in Wisconsin, formally submitted their request to Amy Coney Barrett, who is in charge of emergency application requests. The group asked to suspend the loan cancellation until the outcome of the pending appeal. This comes after the U.S. Department of Education released a beta test this past Friday with over 8 million people submitting requests that weekend. If the block does not go through, the administration could begin processing requests as early as this coming Sunday. This is not the first time that this bill has faced blocks from the legal side. 6 Republican-led states have been trying to block Biden's plan for student debt relief. These states, Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, and South Carolina, claim that Biden does not have the power for national debt relief without Congress, as well as claiming the policy would hurt private companies that service student loans by reducing business. The legal problem these states are facing, however, is finding a plaintiff that can prove that they have been hurt by the legislation, with no current lawsuits being able to find or prove such.
Thank you, Samuel and Addison.
Before we get to this week's Ray of Sunshine, reporter Jillian Musser has an interesting story about the return of Barney, the purple dinosaur. Jillian?
Thanks, Kalian and Juliana. A new docuseries being released on Peacock follows a rather strange development on the following of a popular 1990s children's show airing on Peacock. I Love You, You Hate Me explores the dark side of the purple dinosaur Barney. The show originally debuted back in 1992, giving a platform to future stars like Selena Gomez and Demi Lovato. His original voice actor Bob West spoke with Inside Edition saying, quote, "It wasn't Barney himself who had a dark side, it was just society that had a dark side. The documentary talks about the folks who had negative reactions to the show and the character," end quote. West explained that he had received multiple explicit death threats over the purple dinosaur, had even caused a group to form called the Jihad Against Barney, with him being their villain. A trend had started where Barney toys were burned, cut up, and even hung. The documentary also goes into depth on the personal drama with Cheryl Leach, her 27-year-old son Patrick, back in 2015, who was sentenced for 15 years in prison for shooting a neighbor in the chest over a disagreement. So why all the backlash? West believes it's due to Barney's innocence. Barney continues to stand for inclusion, compassion, and caring even to this day.
Thanks, Jillian. Now, as always, it's time for this week's Ray of Sunshine.
In case this is your first time joining us or you need a little refresher, Ray of Sunshine is our way of starting your day with a smile and an inspirational quote.
Whether it's the cold outside or the looming idea of final season, it can get hard to be hopeful for the near future. That's why this week our quote is about the importance of holding on and having hope.
This quote comes from British author Samuel Smiles and reads, "Hope is the companion of power and the mother of success. For whoso hopes strongly has within him the gift of miracles."
It's a good quote.
That is a really good quote.
I know, after midterms, especially, and the fact that finals is coming up so soon.
Yes.
It's
burnt out and tired, but when
Right.
I'm at my desk, sometimes I think, I'm here to be successful. I'm here for my future. I'm here to make my family proud, and that always carries me through.
That gives me the motivation. It's like, maybe the freshman in me, but I'm always like, ooh, I can't believe I'm in college.
I can go so far.
I know, it's a lot.
Thank goodness for that Pioneer pause.
Right. That's it for this episode of Daybreak. Thank you all so much for watching.
You can catch clips from all your previous Daybreak episodes on our YouTube at UView Television.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at DaybreakPPU. Until next time, I'm Juliana Brock.
And I'm Colin Winder, hoping your news is great news. See you next week, everyone.